how to take guidance from natural laws. This is something very important, and if one understands it and follows it, he won't face any problem, or he won't go never to any such path which is not proper. So the thing is that nature always guides us. Nature always hints us. But the problem is, because of fluctuations in our mind, so many fluctuations in our mind, so it doesn't receive those messages. So to receive those messages, which is always given by our guiding lights, all those forces which are responsible to make us grow from a child to a man, from a child to a woman, from a seed to a tree, which keeps all season changing all the year. All these forces, all these energies, all these powers which are running the universe in such a flawless flow that everything is nourished all the time by different forces, and everything keeps growing properly. So what is the force? What is the reason? What is the cause which harms in the spontaneity of this cycle? So that is merely our ignorance. Ignorance to receive those messages in that absolute manner in which nature wants to give. And the best method is to make ourselves adaptable to that energy, to that forces, to that power which keeps everything guiding in a proper manner. But the only thing is that when our consciousness, when our mind, it is fluctuating, it is wavering, then what happens? If it is wavering in a high manner, then we are unable to receive lower notes. Like in a graph. When in a graph, XY axis, it is on zero level, then whatever slightest fluctuations occurs, it will be recorded, it will be received by that graph. Like seismograph, if slightest vibration takes place, then it will be recorded. But if it is already vibrating, if seismograph itself is vibrating, then whatever lesser vibrations are there, that won't be recorded. That can't be recorded. So it means if we want to receive those messages, we will have to have, at least for few moments, we must have that ability, that level, XY axis, which is absolutely leveled. So whatever fluctuations are there, we can record that. To achieve that, how to achieve that? To achieve that level, we'll have to go beyond the manifested values, manifested tendencies, or the basic levels of consciousness. And those Jagrata, Swapna, and Sushupta, waking, dreaming, and sleeping. So if we go, because when we are awake, we keep on thinking, we keep on vibrating, our mind is wavering all the time, right? And when we are dreaming, of course, we are fluctuating with our dreams and all that. And when we are sleeping, we are in sleeping stage also. There are REM, rapid eye movement. There are many types of sleep pattern. So sometimes when we are sleeping, and sleeping stage is of different type, then also when it is not fluctuating, it's absolutely cool, calm. It's a phrase that at a certain time in the morning or in some special stages, we receive those messages. But those can be accidental. But how to organize it properly in a systematic manner? So that method is called meditation. When we meditate, then what happens? We go beyond sleeping, dreaming, and waking state. And when we go beyond sleeping, dreaming, and waking state, then the fourth state, when we reach there, when we meditate, we go beyond these three stages, and that is called fourth state of consciousness. That is called Turiya Avastha. In that level, when we are we go beyond these three levels. So that is Traigunya Vishyaveda, this Traigunya Bhavajana. So we go beyond all these three gunas. Saturastham, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupta, length, breadth, and height, three-dimensional values. So all these three-dimensional values, we go beyond that. So when we go beyond that, and that is the fourth level of consciousness, that is called Turiya Avastha. In Turiya Avastha, what is? It is absolutely, that is absolute state. No fluctuations, absolute silence, absolute bliss, no activity, no vibrations, right? So you are in perfect alliance with all those natural laws which are running the universe. You are established in that unity consciousness which is holding the universe. You are yogastha. You are in alliance with those ultimate energies which are running the universe. And because that is the absolute level, zero fluctuations, so that is the state where any fluctuations or any, because XY it is, or XYZ you can say, it is absolutely zero level. But that zero level is not nothingness. It is nothingness but having the possibilities of everythingness, having the potential of everythingness. So when we are established in that level of consciousness, then because it is XYZ, it is zero, so whatever slightest fluctuation is there, we can record that on a different level of consciousness. Like we know there are many levels of consciousness: conscious mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind. So similarly, there are many layers. So in that level, all those messages are received and recorded properly, maybe knowingly or unknowingly. And there are many nouns given to that level. It is called intuition. It is called extrasensory power. Just so many nouns. But the main thing is, when we go beyond these three gunas, three levels, three types, three dimensions, then only we are established. Of course, for a while, but later on, when we practice, then it is sustained. It becomes permanent. Whether you open your eyes or you close your eyes, you are in the same level of consciousness. And when a person is established in that level of consciousness, then all these ESPs and, intuitions and all the receptivities becomes very live. It doesn't happen that you receive those things accidentally, or when you practice, when you meditate during meditation, but it happens naturally. And that is called turiyatit. When you are meditating, then you take a dip in that fourth level, but gradually what happens, that fourth level is established for good, for all the time. Generally, it starts with happening for few moments, then later on it becomes permanent. So when you open your eyes or close your eyes, you are always in that level of consciousness. So in that level, it is very naturally, all the messages are received very naturally. So, because, every time, every place, nature guides us. If it is going to rain, you will have clouds. If it is sun will be covered by the clouds. There are different types of clouds. And we have, all the, these sounds and all the quality of winds and all those things. So if a good farmer, a good expert, they all know that this type of wind is coming from this direction, this is moisture, this is temperature, these types of clouds. They understand that it's going to rain. It is definitely going to rain. So similarly, these are natural signals of manifested values. So similarly, there are many signals which are for unmanifested values, which are not manifested yet, but going to happen. So similarly, like in astrology, we know that if these combinations are there, then it is going to rain for very cats and dogs. But if these combinations are made, then maybe a drought will happen. So similarly, there are two methods to foresee it. One is by knowledge which is there in scripture, knowledge of natural laws. Those are described in various branches of Vedic science. So one method is to go through those branches and become able to foresee it or predict it or to understand it or to know it. And another method is to go beyond these three-dimensional values and become in become in alliance with those natural laws and receive those masses directly. So when a person who is directed by the nature itself and who receives the nature's signals properly, those are the chosen ones. Those are called chosen ones. And because they take guidance from that divinity, or in scientific terms, from those forces which are called unified field, pure energy, which is responsible to run the universe, those who are enhanced with those energies, they get these signals clearly. So whatever word you give them, clairvoyant or whatever. But the thing is that it is very much possible in nature. Everybody receives those messages, but some people receive it for sometimes here and there, and but if one want to do those practices properly, systematically, then one can properly, systematically get training and knowledge of those things. And those are described very systematically in various scriptures. It is Patanjali Yoga Darshan in all Vedic sciences, all Vedic branches, because Vedic sciences are not the those should not be described as something which is boundary walled, or it is limited in some boundaries. It is universal phenomena. These are natural laws. Each and every individual, each and every part, all points of longitude, latitude, whole universe is getting affected by those laws. So these are the laws of nature which are universal. Everybody is being affected by those laws. So if we understand those laws, then we understand everything of nature. So those laws are classified in different fields, and those fields are given by different names, like meteorology. If we can predict the laws of nature, what is going to happen in what time, in what manner, that is given a name, a certain. Now in modern science we can name that is meteorology. Now in meteorology we predict something by observing winds and climatic condition and air pressure in this side, that side, all those things. But how these pressures are built, when these pressures will be built, so those possibilities, when pressure is built and some winds, the special qualities of winds are going to come, that is predictable, but that is on manifested level. That pressure is already created, that temperature is already created, that vacuum is already created, and as a result, something is going to happen. But when it is on abstract level, when it is not on material level, when it is not on that manifested level that this vacuum is already created, this temperature is already there, why the vacuum is created, why the temperature is going to be like that, that is when that knowledge is on unmanifested level. All these very sensitive branches of Vedic science, they go on very finer level. And because all the season changes because of location of earth in reference of sun. Similarly, all the Vedic branches of Vedic science, they go more deeper, and it is not merely the location of Earth in reference of Sun, but there are many celestial bodies, many planets, many other factors which are responsible to create those pressures and temperature and all that, which is not manifested yet, but it is going to happen. Like a good farmer knows that this is winter, just wait for that particular months and this crop will grow. There is no need to plant that sapling of that particular plant in this season because it is not going to flourish. So they know that after how many months the right temperature, the right climate, the right season will come and this particular sapling should be planted. Similarly, and that season is not, it has not come yet, but they know that this is going to happen, and that is hidden in the nature. It is not manifested. Similarly, there are many branches of knowledge in Vedic science which can predict all those things if taken care of more refinedly, more nicely, more in depth. So similarly, on the level of consciousness, those things which are going to happen but have not happened yet, but the possibilities are there, those can be foreseen, predicted by becoming in alliance with those natural laws, and the method of becoming in alliance with those natural laws are there, very much there in the scriptures. So if we want to get guidance from Mother Nature, then one has to be in alliance with Mother Nature, and there are many natural laws which helps you to become in alliance with Mother Nature. So if we are aligned with Mother Nature, then we have so many powers. We have, that's what I said, extrasensory power, which is called intuition, which is called, there are many people who are called clairvoyants. So there are so many energies, so many pattern of understanding, knowledge, which can foresee, which can receive, which can experience all those things. But the thing is, normally it is accidental or we find it in a scattered manner. So what if we go all these, to understand all these branches of knowledge, which are very systematically described in our Vedic scriptures. So if we follow those things systematically, then nowadays what we find in a scattered manner, something here and there, in accidentally in some places, in some people. So those things can be systematically developed in one's consciousness, and every individual will become very well aware of all those things. So that if you are in perfect alliance with those natural laws, then all the animals, all the insects, they get all the informations of nature. When it is going to rain, we can study the behavior of all these insects, and there are many experts who just observe insects and they can predict that what is going to happen, if earthquake is going to come or heavy rain is going to come or whatever. So how they receive that? Because their consciousness is absolutely aligned with nature. How it happens that Siberian cranes, they come all over 5, 6, 7,000 kilometers from Siberia to Bharatpur's bird sanctuary. Who tells them that this is the best place for their, living, for their survival? So it means Jnanam Chetanayam Nihitam. Knowledge is a structure in consciousness. The requirement is, if we simply make ourselves aligned with that consciousness, that unity. In modern quantum mechanical theory, if we call it unified field, then if we are aligned with that unified field, with that cosmic or unity consciousness, then we get all signals, all instructions very naturally, and it will be available for every individual. It is not something very extraordinary. It is very natural, very normal, very routine practice. The only thing is that we forgot all those wonderful things, because of which we were bird of gold, Soni ki chidiya. Huh? Our GDP was very high. Huh? Nobody was, nobody was falling sick. Everybody was happy. All the desires, whatever desire any individual, had, it was fulfilled. So these are not stories. These are historical facts. These are historical facts. We know all the known history, which is documented. If we go a little earlier, then people might think this way or that way. But we have a documented documents from the time immemorial, So if we want to make it a regular practice, then we can enliven all those wonderful things in everybody's consciousness in a systematic manner, and everybody will start receiving all those right signals, all those right guiding signals, so that we can make our life on every level, physical level, mental level, and spiritual level, social level, emotional level, national level, on all levels, wonderfully perfect. So now this is the right time to revive all those branches of knowledge which were based on absolute natural laws, which are real, genuinely universal, which affects every individual and every longitude, latitude of the globe. It is natural and universal. Now this is the right time to revive and re-establish it. And I wish we see that future in present times as soon as possible.